Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very, very accomplished professional from Oklahoma, USA, Jeanice Cummings. Jeanice, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Thank you. Jeanice is a relationship transition coach. She's the founder of You Win Working with Me LLC. I love the name. Jeanice is helping women find the courage, confidence, and capacity to move forward. So Jeanice, with over 35 years in nonprofit leadership and a BA in psychology and MA in holistic health and education, tell me a little bit about your own journey.
Well, to start off with, that what I'm doing is not actually what I had in mind. But as it happens, spirit or leads you wherever you're supposed to be.
Correct.
So I started off in Oklahoma, of course, that's where I grew up. And I came from a domestic violence and, toxic environment. I grew up in that. And one of the, that was part how my journey started. And going through all these different processes in my life, and me, myself being in an emotionally abusive relationship.
Wow.
That started my journey. But again, I didn't know I was going to wind up here. I really didn't, because at first I had to work through my own stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of how I started.
Fascinating. And thank you for sharing it. So as a relationship transition coach, Jeanice, tell me about the kind of work you do.
Well, over my 35 years, I've always worked with women in various capacities. I was an infant massage instructor. I taught parents how to massage their babies, with women and families. And over the years, part of the biggest problem that I saw with myself and with women is a lack of self-love and a lack of appreciating who they are. I saw that as such a barrier to their growth, and to their development, and to their ability to have the life that they really deserve. And that's kind of seeing that, because I also worked in the jail with pregnant moms. So as I say, I have a long history of working in nonprofits and with women. And I had to work through my own process. And what I found also is that there was a lot of focus being put on physical abuse, but none on emotional and psychological abuse. And that's actually the foundation of who that person is. So that's kind of what led me to go in that direction. And again, like I said, I'm very spiritual. So I follow what I'm led to do.
Well said. And based on your vast experience, tell me, what are some of the challenges a lot of women face in their relationships and at work?
Okay. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention is I work with women to change, to work out the process of being caught in toxic relationships, beginning in the dating cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, because that, when you're in it, it's a big difference. I would say that a lot of the barriers are internal, are processes that we haven't worked through our childhood, and unconsciously we relive those experiences and the relationships that we get involved in and don't even know it. So it's unconscious. So I believe not knowing yourself is a big part of it. And then not blaming everything on parents, because parents are learning too. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all developing. But at some point during that childhood, you possibly didn't get the support that you needed because the parent didn't know. because we're products of our ancestors.
Correct.
And then a lot of it happens. We inherit a lot of these behaviors. We didn't make them up.
Yeah.
You know, and I would say that a lot of it is stuff that we unresolved childhood issues that don't go away. They hide under the rug and they resurface periodically, or they come again. You push them back under, here they pop out again. So, you know, I'm saying it very primary, but that's kind of the basis of what I see in working with women.
Very interesting. And you also help women find the courage, confidence, and capacity to move forward. Help me understand this, and please give me an example.
Okay. As I said before, if you don't really know who you are, you don't really, you don't see the value in yourself. So first off is the relationship, because we both know that without the relationship, nothing's going to happen.
Correct.
So I merge, I go at their pace. You know, they get the choice on whether they want to see me or not. That opens up the playing field for them to feel more empowered. Yeah, because I'm not forcing you to see me. You know, because most of the jobs that I've held in nonprofit, you know, you get referrals. It's not like the marketing and all this other stuff that I'm trying to learn. But so it's the relationship, it's the empathy, it's the fact that you're listening to her, that you see prospects in her that she hasn't even seen in herself. So that's the foundation. The foundation, building that relationship, it's getting her to begin to believe in herself. Because there's so many people, you ask them, how's your self-esteem? Oh, it's good. But their behavior doesn't exhibit it. So you know that it doesn't exist.
Correct.
So after I start building that relationship, she begins to trust me. She starts sharing parts of her life that she hasn't had the opportunity to share, because a lot of times, and when you tell people things, you're judged. You know, and your judgment is wrong. You're just judging by paperwork, or you're judging by what's been told to you, or what you assume. And assumptions, as we know, are not always on point. Correct. But I show them that I believe in them. And I do. I really do. And I'll give you an example. I had a client that she had lost all of her children in foster care. And she was a substance abuser. So when she came to me, you know, they send you the records. I very seldom look at the records, because sometimes, you know, it can kind of jade your opinion a little bit, you know, unconsciously. It's not like you know it. So she told me herself that she had lost her 5 children, and they were with different family members. So she came in on a minor charge at jail. Usually, if it's drug related, it's something around stealing, and I'm just generalizing, but there's other charges too. And so she came in, she felt defeated. Nobody believed her. Her social worker was tired of her, you know. So what I did in working with her, listened to her story, validated her feelings, advocated for her, totally advocate, because she was pregnant, she was in jail. The final thing that was going to happen is they're going to take the baby. Wow. That's usually what happens. But I developed a program where they don't take the baby, they give it to a family member. But so she felt defeated, and then the people around her felt defeated, and they were treating her unconsciously in some cases, conscious in some, but treating her like she was a loser. So I advocated for her, because one thing about programs, sometimes they tell you that they do something and it winds up they're not doing it, right? So I kind of pushed them a little bit to do what they said they were going to do. And that was, if a woman goes into a substance abuse program, she can go in the program with her baby. Okay. So I advocated for that to happen for her while she was in the hospital. She delivered the baby, and the substance abuse program came and picked her up. and then they took her into the program.
Okay.
And she has been flourishing ever since. She got connected with her kids again. She got her a job. She relocated, and then she let me know how much she appreciated. So it was it's incidents like that. I felt like I was placed there to be a conduit for, because we're placed where we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And it's for somebody that's there. And
Well said.
yeah, so those were the kind of cases that really fueled me. I really loved it. I worked in that position for 12 years.
Amazing.
So I really loved it. Yeah.
Amazing. And Jeanice, when I was reading about you, there is a mention of a 6-month signature relationship transition blueprint.
Right.
Tell me a little more about this, and how does this work?
Well, how it works, of course, is we start building you up. Of course, that's always the foundation.
Right.
And I have modules that you go through because the hardest part is acceptance. That's very, very hard. Even when I talk to a lot of women, how was your childhood? Always fantastic. But your dad was an alcoholic and you were in foster care. So I'm saying to myself, it probably wasn't that good, but that's how it starts. So we go through these different modules, admission, taking a look at your childhood, see where this came from, because we're not going to go all the way back. We're just going to hit on some different areas that have interrupted your functioning, that are causing you to not get where it is you want to go. And we also start looking also at your goals. What is it that you want to achieve? What's in your way? How can we alleviate that? So we're going through all these modules, all of them, to help you get ready so you can move forward with your life, because the confidence will be there.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, the goal is for you to move out of that relationship. Okay. And if you're in that relationship, at least start looking at a healthy relationship.
Well said. Well said.
And so we go through all those modules. And we also, if there's children involved, we look at the impact that it has on the children, because the children are the forgotten people. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but it's kind of like nobody really asks the kid how the kid feels in the relationship, or how this mate is impacting the child. So we go through all of that, not to make them feel bad, because the goal is not to make you feel bad. The goal is to accept what you didn't know and add new skills to it so you become better. Okay. So yeah, we go through all that. And then at the end, there's a security issue that people forget about, because all relationships are not, okay, see you later, happy, you have a happy life, I have a happy life, right? It's not like that. And sometimes as a society, we don't like to look at the realism of what's really going on, because relationships and toxic relationships and abusive relationships, women are getting killed. This is a real issue, And so we talk about how she can protect herself in terms of the restraining order, because I also have a degree in paralegal, I use it in some cases, but we look at, how are you going to protect yourself after this relationship? A lot of times women get in relationships. I'm giving you the examples so you understand kind of where I'm going. But women get into relationships, they say it's over. Oh, he's gone on his way. I can just let down my guard, go on with my life. That's not true. You're going on with your life, but that other person is not. So I bring up a lot through that transition program. I bring up a lot of issues that are hidden in the background that no one takes a look at. And no one takes a look at the fact that a lot of women return a minimum of 7 times before they actually leave that relationship.
Wow. That's an amazing statistic.
It is. It is. But these are things that are not talked about. And I feel like, in venues like this, and we can talk about these things because we're going to have to take a look at them because it's impacting our kids. It's impacting the world. Where this violence is growing. It's growing. You know, and that's why I'm do what I do, is because I want the women to stop the cycle of toxic and abusive relationships.
Well said. I agree with you completely. But tell me a little bit more about that, you know, what you just mentioned, that women come back 7 times. I'm sure you have understood why this happens. Is it because there are children involved, or is it just the ability to say, okay, I forgive the person?
Well, there's so many reasons, and they vary from person to person. Children may be involved, finance might be involved, dependency might be involved, because when women are in toxic relationships, they're getting toxic messages all the time. Even though they go out, and a lot of these women are high achieving women. These are not, you know, these are women that got it going on in their jobs, right? But then they go home and they have another role that they take. Wow. So the return is based upon whatever's going on with them. Like in my case, getting in an emotionally abusive relationship, it was familiar. No matter how you say, oh, I'm not going to do that like that, I don't like that like that, it's familiar. And you're kind of drawn to that person. And those are the kind of things that the program addresses. You know, we addresses the major things that can help you move on forward with your life.
So I've got to ask you one other question. You know, you've used the term toxic relationship quite often. For my viewers and listeners, how do you define a toxic relationship?
I feel like you define it a lot by the way you're treated. Okay, you can, like you, especially when you're dating, if you're telling somebody something and they don't accept no, okay, and they're extremely jealous, it's the same signs in toxic or in abusive. You know, the only difference may be the physical aspect.
I see.
But the mental aspect is damaging. It's more damaging in many ways, because those wounds are internal wounds. So toxic relationships, nobody's doing anything to improve the relationship. You feel bad physically, you're ill. It's making you sick. It makes you sick and you don't even know it.
Well
you know,
said.
It's really deep. That's why sometimes toxic relationships can and cannot be repaired. Unhealthy ones can, but in relationships, both people have to be working together for the same goal.
Amazing. My next question to you, Jeanice, is, you know, you did share with me your own journey of what you have come out of, but all of us are shaped by people who influence us throughout our lives. My question to you is, how have some people shaped you, and how are they influencing you in your coaching relationships?
Well, I guess the first person for me would be my mother, because she was in a toxic relationship and she was in an abusive relationship.
Wow. Okay.
And I would say that through all of that, she got her degree. She went to school. She got her master's degree. In the beginning, you know, she didn't know who she was at all, but she was a big influence over my life. And then I've had some mentors that have been really big influences over my life. And of course, spirit is always a big influence of my life, because I feel like we're here for a purpose. We're not here just to hang out.
Correct.
And we should spread some joy and you know, goodness wherever we can.
Correct. Well said.
Yes. And so I'm always looking for people that motivate me and stimulate me and keep me on my path.
How wonderful. So I have time for 2 more questions. My next question to you, Jeanice, is about some of your own unique perspectives that you bring to every relationship as a coach. Tell me about some of these unique perspectives that only you have.
Well, I have humor.
Okay.
I bring humor. Okay, because everything's has to be serious all the time. And I also bring empathy. Just because I haven't been your road, that doesn't mean I don't feel your pain. I bring empathy, non-judgmental. That's why I don't like to read all that paperwork all the time. I have my own process, and I don't listen to what other people say. I mean, and sometimes on the other side, other people, they don't like it. Like if I go places and I don't treat people the same way they do, they kind of say, oh, she's just doing it. She should, I get a lot of flack from it, but I don't really care because I live the way I want to live. And I choose the way I want to treat people, and nobody's going to change that. So that's what I do. And I try to build families. If you're having problems with your family, I'm talking, mediating on both sides, trying to get y'all to come together for the purpose of the child. And then the purpose of your relationship. So I feel like I'm very unique because I don't follow a mode. I mean, because a lot of times people, they have a program and the program stays the same for 50 years. I mean, everything has to be adapted. It can't stay the same. So I bring a unique perspective, an open-mindedness, and a love to see people advance. Women.
How wonderful.
Women and men, but mostly women.
Yeah, thank you. What a great response. Thank you. And my last question to you, Jeanice, and this is for the thousands of people who will listen to our conversation. Based on your own amazing understanding of relationships and all the great work you're doing to support so many women, what would you say are 3 lessons you want our viewers and listeners to take away from your journey and from our conversation?
I guess the first one is never give up. Never give up. Just keep your eyes on your dream. Okay. Admission when you've messed up. Admission when maybe you didn't have the kind of childhood that you wanted. Okay. And love for people. I mean, being nice to people. I would say, don't bring your anger or your negativity into the room with other people. I guess those would be the 3 things. Stay true to yourself, because there's so many people trying to change you out there. Okay, stay true to yourself.
And on that note, Jeanice, and your wonderful lessons, never give up, keep your eyes on your dream, make sure there is love for people, be nice, don't keep any negativity, and stay true to yourself. Thank you so much for speaking to me about your incredible journey in the nonprofit world and as a relationship transition coach. I learned so many new things from you today about how you are doing such wonderful things for women in a toxic relationship or in an abusive relationship. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.